That's extremely disappointing. Really disappointing. I mean, we're all out here. We knew it was going to be cold. We're all triple layered up.
I mean, as someone who's going to be watching it, I personally disagree. But I mean, I understand it's going to be really cold, so maybe not everyone's up for that. But I think it should be outside. It was only inside when Reagan had it because it was on a Sunday, so I think that's a little different.
Everybody knows it's going to be like 15 to 20 degrees before we got in a plane, before we packed. I have 3 snow pants and 4 layers of clothes and double hats and warmers, and we're ready to go.
Donald Trump supporters are pissed because as they were flying into DC, driving, traveling hours to get here, he decided last minute, knowing full well what the weather was going to be for weeks, he decided last minute to make it so that the inauguration is indoors. And these folks are not happy. And I wouldn't be either, because think about it. Like, when you plan a vacation, how far in advance do you do it? How much money do you invest? Someone has to watch your animals. Perhaps there's childcare involved. You're buying tickets, hotels. Like, there's a lot of money to invest to travel. And out of nowhere, Donald Trump totally changed their plans. But this is what happens when you buy into a con man. Here was their reaction.
At Capital One Arena for folks, but nobody's going to be outside now. What's your reaction to that?
So we're not going to get to see it in person then. Is that correct?
That's right.
Well, I don't like it. I mean, we came all the way from Washington, from Oklahoma, and, you know, now we're not going to get to see it. We might as well stay home and watch it on TV.
It sucks. Let me rephrase that.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's actually something that we've been looking forward to for historical purposes, and being a part of it, that's once in a lifetime.
Absolutely.
We made all the plans, all the arrangements to come up and be a part of this event. And all of a sudden to hear that it's being moved indoors,
We're prepared for the weather. It's not a problem.
It's kind of like a bummer.
It is, yeah. It's not.
Cold ain't gonna hurt nobody. And we have farms, and we don't get to not feed the cows because it's cold.
Yeah, well, I think Donald Trump didn't want to do it because Donald Trump just didn't want to be uncomfortable. Here is a little bit of that announcement. January 20th can't come fast enough. Blah, 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 blah. The weather forecast for Washington, D.C. with the wind chill factor could take temperatures into severe record lows. So he says that he does this to be safe for everyone. He's going to do it in the rotunda. But I've got some news for him. This is not the first time. It is January in Washington, D.C. This is not the first time. Won't be the last time. It's cold in D.C. And former President John F. Kennedy's inauguration was held outside and featured weather most comparable to the outside conditions during Trump's second ceremony. Kennedy made his first statement by not wearing an overcoat despite a temperature of just 22 degrees. And Obama, Trump's best friend Obama, said that was being sarcastic, because we all know Donald Trump does not like Obama. Don't want anyone to think that I'm, Anyway, it was 24 degrees when Obama first inauguration in 2009, and someone was there with 3 layers of clothes and thousands showed up. Someone else wrote, the wind chill at the 2009 inauguration for Barack Obama was about 14 degrees Fahrenheit. He, his wife, and young daughters didn't run inside the Capitol Rotunda. They just wore coats. That's right. I think that's what this is really about, is that Donald Trump just didn't want to be cold, and he doesn't really care about his supporters. Here's some reactions. That means all those people who plan to be there in person won't be able to. So only 20,000 will be able to attend the inauguration since it's been moved to the arena. And the parade will also be moved to the arena, even though 300 to 600,000 were planning to attend. Oh, man. But you know what? You know who is going to be able to sit with Donald Trump? And that is the folks who he actually cares about. Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Sam Altman, Miriam Edelson, Timon Fertitta, J. Joe Ricketts, Brian Armstrong, Steven Feinberg, Warren Stevens. You probably not even know all these people, but you know what they all have in common? They're billionaires. They're billionaires. And so while Donald Trump had to use his supporters to get power again, and he fleeces them left and right, as he just did yesterday, he came out with this meme coin whatever that is, that's worth now $25 billion. The President of the United States is making money and fleecing his followers as he's about to head into office. This is basically a pyramid scheme. The more people that buy into it, the less likely you are to make money. Donald Trump is going to screw over his followers using this scheme. It's a terrible investment. I would not recommend doing it, but Donald Trump supporters, unfortunately, are about to find out that Donald Trump doesn't care about them. He doesn't care about them, whether or not they go to his inauguration. He certainly doesn't care if he cheats them out of a lot of money. Meanwhile, who's not going to be there is Nancy Pelosi and Michelle Obama. What I love about this is that they don't even give a reason, because you know what? Who cares? Donald Trump didn't show up 4 years ago, and people are trying to like make a stink out of this. It's like, sorry, Nancy Pelosi is well within her right to not go. So is Michelle Obama. And Donald Trump like threw a temper tantrum 4 years ago, a temper tantrum that basically ripped the fabric of our democracy and tattered it, and didn't even go to the inauguration after his hissy fit was over. So I don't really care that Nancy Pelosi and Michelle Obama aren't going. In fact, I think it's appropriate considering everything. And normally after these things, there's a lunch. There's a lunch between former presidents and the future president. And this time, none of the former presidents are going to that lunch. So I think that's also a good thing. I think we have to stop pretending like this is all normal. And I just want to end with this. It's going to be a longer video, but I hope you do watch it, because when I was watching this, I was thinking to myself, this should be the message Democrats try to embrace these next 2 to 4 years, because this is a big club of billionaires and powerful elites. And MAGA, you're not in it. And if you're not in it, it means you're outside of it and you're being conned. So I hope you watch this. It's George Carlin. It's about 3.5 minutes long. Definitely worth your time. And I think you will feel something from it. And I will see you next time. Thanks so much.
Politicians have traditionally hidden behind 3 things: the flag, the Bible, and children. No child left behind. No child left behind. Oh, really? Well, it wasn't long ago you were talking about giving kids a head start. Head start, left behind? Someone's losing fucking ground here. But there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later, because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club.